I started playing guitar when I was in junior high. So I started getting into music after my parents got divorced. My first album ever was an 8-track. It was The Police's Zenyatta Mandata, right? And I just loved that album. And then so from there, I sort of got really into Led Zeppelin, and then Van Halen. So it was like I was a classic, 80s kid. I think music in general for me was a little bit of an escape from life at the time. And then sometime in junior high, I went to my mom and said, "Hey, can I buy a guitar?" And of course the answer was no. And finally I'd asked so many times that she said, "Well, if you want a guitar, you've got to pay for it yourself." So I worked all summer and saved up and got my first guitar after that. And I still remember it. It was a PV Patriot. It was like aqua blue. I have no idea why it was aqua blue, like why I picked it. But yeah, I had that guitar forever. Honestly, I started getting really, really serious when I got this job as the CEO. This is a stressful job, unlike anything I've ever experienced, and I need to do something for me. And so that's when I started taking lessons hardcore. Because of what the environment was like before pre-COVID, right? I effectively, I would take one day a week at lunch and say, that's a guitar lesson. I'm taking it. Because when I started to try to work with the guy that I was introduced with initially to give me guitar lessons, it was like impossible to find a time, right? It's like, well, does this work? I'm like, well, no, because I have 4 kids and I'm basically a chauffeur after I leave work until 9 o'clock at night. And then, I go into work relatively early. And so what we decided was, well, like a lunch. And to me, the important thing was to make sure I was disciplined and very intentional about getting it in and spending that hour, because I can guarantee you that was the 1 hour that I didn't think about work. Playing music or looking and appreciating art, to me, is one of the most freeing things you can do with your soul, right? I've been in situations where I play and I just close my eyes and play, and I'm only listening to the notes, and I'm only listening, and it is one of the most gratifying things that you can ever experience in your life. I think if you can increase your creativity and use that side of your brain, it makes you better at everything, right? So that's why I'm such a big fan of the arts, because I think that's the impact that the arts have on us as humans. The arts make us better human beings.